Okay, let's get started on this then. It is a wonderful new day, and welcome everybody to the stream. Today, we are developing on this beautiful little project, which at this point, it has gotten rather large. But that's not the focus of today. Today, I would like to do an art pass because some of these character sprites are quite old, and I'm going to be blunt, I'm not an artist. I barely have any practice whatsoever creating art. So this has been a very self-teaching kind of project in which, well, I need art somehow, and what else am I gonna do? I can't rely on other people doing everything for me. So I just did it. But that does mean that since I've been working on this game for 18 months by now, my art prowess has, I would say, improved, or you can turn it another way. The old stuff looks bad. I think we can say that. If nothing else, I've learned some new techniques, and practice does help. So then, prime example, this one. Beautiful, calm little tiger. I think she deserves to be mostly remade, largely improved. As such, let us begin. I'm a little surprised that I did bother to put her into different layers. Some of my old art I had simply all drawn within the same layer, which is just the biggest sin that you can commit. Layers are free, use them. So, what bothers me about this? For one, she is smaller than she should be. Also, there's this weird profile, which is partly intentional. As you can see, she is turned away, this kind of diagonal. But not a fan, honestly. Essentially, here's the sprite of her sister, and I want it to be more like that. As you can see, this is properly front on. It's actually a good bit more zoomed in. She is simply larger, which I personally prefer. This one is taken from further away. And I would like to work out this angle, and additionally, these shoulders are just weird. They don't really go anywhere. The hair is weird. So, one by one, let's turn off these layers on top so that we can get started. First thing is going to be, we're going to extend the skin layer. Even though most of this is going to be covered, we want to have the outline of the character as it will appear. So what do I want to do? Again, I want to straighten her out somewhat, so this ear needs to come over. She doesn't need to be straight on, as I'm standing now, but she does need to be a bit straighter, as such. Let's see. Unfortunately, I've already got the shading in here, but let's say we just straight up remove that. take the shading and remove it. There. Now, just get your shape. Draw the outline. For that, it's always a decent idea to just baseline have symmetry, and then you can work backwards from there. So, let's see, head shape, like the ear to be higher up actually, but symmetry meaning I'm gonna take this side, which I think this isn't her full shoulder. If we look at this, yeah, this is kind of the shape that I want. So we want the shoulders to take up most of the image. Squally is actually asymmetrical. But, so in order for it to be zoomed in, obviously we need it to be closer, which means you see less vertically. So let's do that. Let's say to a distance of 3 pixels off the edge. Something like that. I didn't draw that line. No, good. And then you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna take that, copy it, and then as soon as GameMaker wants to cooperate, that we're going to flip it. This is not going to be the final product. Music, can you chill? Thank you. This is not going to be the final product, but it's going to be a starting point since I'm essentially remaking this sprite entirely. To that end, I need to fill in. Then, currently she's got, literally she doesn't have a chin. Also, her shoulders are too high up. Let's try something like that. Yeah, make it a bit taller, since your shoulders are relatively tall before they even out. Like that over here as well. Then, basic shape, the throat. I am still going to now add a bit of an outline for the chin, for which we're going to utilize her again, because I need some kind of division where the head ends and the throat begins. So to that end, okay, so it's a bucket shape. This family does have shockingly pointy chins. Okay, and the shadow actually goes down one row into the chest area. So something like that, I think would do us. Okay, given that, moving on. The chin needs to be pointier. How do we achieve that? Yeah. Accordingly, erase something like that. We can redraw it later. For now, get it into shape. Something like that. When you're drawing, don't concern yourself with the end. Start with doing something, anything. You'll always refine it later. And so that's what I'm doing now. Just basic shapes, circles. Get started like so. Okay. It's a bit crooked, I admit. But there's a basic head shape. Stick another ear that away. Is that how it's about right? It looks like it, yeah. Now, this is straight on, which is what I said I didn't want. So, unfortunately all of this is on the same layer, otherwise this would be easier, but let's say we do something like that, yeah? Have her turn her head slightly to the left of the viewer, which if you do it too much, you have to account for, well, distortion, that the shape changes as you view it from a different angle. But let's see if we can get away with not doing that. Let's see. You show me this. Yeah. That's scary. So we're still somewhat zoomed in. Like that, to have the throat rolling out into the shoulders. You're still small though. I think you also don't have as much throat as she does. Isn't that true? Say that's 3 pixels between 4 pixels here. Yeah, this is 3 pixels on the far side and not that many, even on the short side. So, fortunately, we have the throat shadow to isolate the head. But let's say we push it, let's say up here. What happens then? Well-lit throat to fill it out. It looks quite tall, doesn't it? Yes. But that's fine. Keep working on it. Unfortunately, in our wonderful digital medium, you can undo anything. It's fine to make mistakes. Same is true on the physical medium, but here you can undo them entirely, which I like. I think, let's see, let's check the width. So you are 4 squares, almost 4 entire squares of head width between the ears. If we put the same scale here, that's actually exactly that. So why are you this tall? Because you've got hair. Right, gotcha. I think that is a bit too much space under the head. So, something like that. There we go. Now, so far it is a precise and exact circle. Well, it's really not, but you see the kind of... It's also not even, which is fine. Of course, the chin side of the head is pointier than the hair side, but let's see if we can make something happen. I just like to see real fast. So this aligns with that, this aligns with that, so we are symmetrical in so far. I think I would like for it not to be quite so circular, meaning I'd like the curve to be a bit more extreme. Maybe widen, no, the head is wide, that's fine as it is. How tall's the head here then? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish. If we check here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, exactly. Alright. So maybe that's fine. Really. Maybe that's okay. Yeah, I think that checks. If we put hair on that, yeah, that looks horrible. But that's fine, obviously the hair was for a different character. Now, let's think about pose. Currently it is very slightly off to the left. Though I would... What I'd like is... let's see, I can pull up the old as reference. The old sprites did have this kind of bit of a slouch going on, which I didn't mind, right? It's not even that pronounced, but I feel that she has... Music, you need to chill. I feel that she has a bit of a slouch, she's pulling herself in, which is characterization through art. So I would like to preserve that. I'd also like her to be turned a little more, but I think we can do that later. I think that's fine as it is, and once we've got the entire image coming together, we can slightly pull the shoulder inward this way to create this turned away effect. So, given that, keep working on the things as they are. Oh, I made a complete mess of that face. Let's see. So, face, obviously, it's not placed properly. As with all things, it is drawn for a different character, so first do it properly, and there's the magic of layers. We don't need to not draw things that are covered, we can just draw them anyway, and then once layers come into play, we can have things dynamically cover other things as makes sense. Now... No, that's the wrong layer. Yeah, face layer. So... I think the distance between her eyes is off here. Yes. Usually I have 4 pixels, but because Tiger was smaller, I had to use a smaller distance. But now that we've made her bigger, I can use the proper 4 pixels. And man, already, look, just start with the T-pose. We can make it fancy later. Right now, I just want the character to be in shape, to which end the eyes should be above the ears. That so far only makes sense. Does it? see. Well, you're not the greatest reference, I have to admit, but this is the top of the ear, right here. And that aligns with the white of the eyes, which is aligned here. Excellent. I want to move your eyes, possibly. Currently, you're looking up, which is... well, it fits your previous pose, but right now, I feel I would rather try something like this. Does your part deserve to be 4 pixels? Maybe. Now then. Now then. I know what I keep saying, that I should press forward on the entire image, but I can't help but feel that right now is the best time to fix the skin, so let's say we try something like that. Just move the entire head slightly to the left while we've got it. Now, her head is very crooked and that looks weird. I'll admit, it does. What did I just do? Let's see, I moved this part over. Okay, first position, then shape. So we're going to take this, put it back. Maybe we don't even do that. How about this? So obviously we're going to need to fix the shadows here. And the shading is meh. Whatevers. Yeah. You over? Yeah, I like that. Now, it does still have the dinner plate face, which I would certainly love to shift over, so let's think. As you turn your head on the side that is turned away from the camera, which in this case would be the left side, you can see like so. It becomes straighter because the front of your face obviously is flat. You've got the curves on the sides. So it wasn't the worst idea to move this stuff over, so let's give it another try. Do it symmetrically though. Something like that. Which will require, of course, the face to move alongside it. Something like that. Don't hate that. Obviously it looks wrong because it's half a picture right now. But there's something to it. There's something to that. I just hope that I'm not making the same mistakes that led me to dislike the original sprite. But we can start on something now. I want the head shape to taper out more gently. So, something like that. Oh, well, something like that. Maybe we do keep it like this, or actually, how about it's yeah. It's got the gentler tapering, and on this side They've got even a smoother curve. Although, might want to round it out, at least on top, even more. How does that sound? So that would look something like this? Oh. What do I want? I want a 2 pixel wide. So that would be something like this. And like that. Not exactly this. More like that. And let me just turn off the lines layer. Oh, fantastic. Now that's fine. Here we are. Yeah, that's starting to become something, I think. But here, I believe we continue on first. This. I think the mouth is too high up anyway. 2, 3. Yeah. Because this is pulled up, so the base of it is just 2 pixels above where the chin ends. This is far too high. There's, I believe, just 3 pixels between eyes and mouth. Interesting. So where have I ended up here? Is the head too tall, I think? Yeah, let's give it a bit of a squish. Which will once again result in less tallness, but that's fine. She is actually canonically shorter, so we can represent that. Also, there's going to be hair coming on top of this. It doesn't all need to be skin. Not, of course, that... again, layers. I can draw the character shape, and after that, once the hair comes in, I can cover up the excess skin that I don't actually want. But it is still a good idea to, well, not to only draw stuff where it actually would be, so I am largely tracing the skin outline right now. So, moving on. Is it time to move on? Do I want to make this throat wider? Because, like, if you turn your head, then you've still got throat over here. Let's try that. But on the correct layer. There we are. That does help a lot, actually. Okay. Moving on. Yeah, the hair's actually not too terribly out of place anymore, which I think is a good thing. Obviously, it is going to need significant changes to fit the new character, but I am more happy with this than I used to be. I don't understand why I put the hair layer so far down. Like, obviously, the hair goes over the dress and over the face, so this layer ordering makes much more sense. So, think about it like so. Currently, dress and hair fit together perfectly. So, I think we just chuck this entire thing, or at least fully redraw it. So, the basic idea is, we've got an outline, which follows the character's shoulders, and then we've got an inside color, the lighter one, which also gives way to some highlighting with the outline color. So let's try that. Just fill it out for now, then we can add the highlighting. Fill is this tool. Now then. What do you wear? Let me see you. You wear pretty modest tops, to be honest. Still, that looks almost like a turtleneck, so let's try something like this. And as for highlighting, you can't perfectly see it on my shirt here, but under your axle there creates a natural fold, which I like to portray. I also like to show a kind of rim, like so. Maybe that wants to be higher up to cover this lighter part. Well, let's try it. It's usually how I draw things, yes, if we directly compare. Although now we've got this bit of this bit coming out. So let's say something like that, yeah? Don't be so modest, show us a bit of shoulder. Alright? Now, that's the basic shape of it. So the axle is not too far, and how I like to draw it, I haven't here. Who shows that well? Do you have one? Yeah. So it doesn't actually start at the shoulder, because there's your shoulder, right? You need to give it a bit of space, so usually it's something like that. Oh, the joys of drawing at this resolution. On one hand, you can manually place every single pixel because, well, there's only 32 pixels to a side here. So, what's the worst that's going to happen? You can literally place them one by one until they're satisfied and look at every single one if it is properly in line. However, space for detail you have not. And if a single pixel is out of line, it is going to stick out. So, to that end, well, all that we can do is experiment. I think this is too sharp. In fact, I know for a fact that I've run into this issue multiple times previously, where I like this falling off shape right here, but it is most natural to connect it here, but I don't know. It doesn't work perfectly, but then it doesn't need to be connected. So how about we try shuffling it over here? That works. That works. It's quite zoomed in, but that does kind of create what I want. Water, it's important. Now, looking at it in the stream preview, I feel like I want the shoulder line to be out one more, something like that, because with it being cut off right there, if it wasn't this 2 pixel high more vertical line, then it would create the effect that it's like flat, then it shoots up, and then it flattens off again, which is not how shoulders work. They're actually a pretty gentle, like so, they're pretty gentle curve that is also continuous. So once it is vertical, it doesn't stop being so. Which is to say, try that. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually going to create a separate layer so that I can more easily move these things around. That's what layers are for. Maybe I even give her something fancy. Let's see. Because I want to try again. Now this is turning into a thing, but yeah, you know, the more I think about it, I mean, quite literally, again, my t-shirt is not the best to show this off, but the axle fold, well, it does, strictly speaking, it does connect upwards. It only really starts a little bit down your shoulder. So I am actually going to move this over back to where we were. Alright. It's starting to look a bit like something. Not a lot, I have to admit. There's still work to be done. But it's looking almost like something. Now, next. Do I want to give a fancy little highlight? No, maybe not. There is... Actually, no. I'm thinking, this character in the lore might have a little badge, but at the time this picture was taken, which is as she entered the school, she would not have had it. Also, I think it's a little bit silly to actually draw that on. Maybe she doesn't actually. Music, you're being a bit chill. You good? Well, you just watch it change to the next track and then it's gonna be something different again. Much more energy. Watch. Oh, this is actually pretty chill. Turn it up a bit. Sure. Well, you know what I'm thinking. If it looks better when we shuffle the fold up or over 1, what if we do it by 2? Or what even if we remove this pixel? Come on. Don't hate that. Well, here's the curse of drawing in low resolution, showing desperately, because I would like for it to be a little curved, but not quite so much. Because this is a bit silly, but this, literally vertical, is a bit too vertical. What if we go the other way? After all, that is the way it goes. Now it just looks like boob. Is this just me? Well, I suppose that is the way that the body goes, isn't it? Yeah, after all, the curve does go outward. Maybe we can try the previous shape, but facing inward. I'm not going to spend all day obsessing over this, don't worry. But it's worth thinking about. Okay, no, that looks wrong. I don't like this shape as much. See what we had before. I don't mind that. Alternatively, just the 2 pixels vertically, no, not in love. So with the outwards. No. Here's the thing. This curve implies that this right here, yeah, this is in front of that. So that's always going to look off, because it implies that, simply put, her arms are in front of her chest, which that just looks like Popeye arms, right? Massive biceps. So let's see. That's the same thing, but in reverse. Yeah. Well, one thing's going to have to be in front of the other. And in so far, I don't hate if it's the center of the chest. But let's work with that, I think. Every character is unique after all, and so there's not one unifying shape, but I will keep that in mind. I think I've got... Queen, how do you look? No, you look good. You've got the hair to imply depth. And on butterfly sprites, we've also got the outward curve. So really this should be me applying what I already know. Okay, doke. So then, I think after this, it's time to move on to the hair. Yeah. So this is the basic shape that I want the hair to be in. I want it to be very long and enveloping her. Obviously, again, it was made for a different pose, it was made for a different size, so it's not going to fit anymore. I also don't like this stripe, because it just doesn't work out. Largely because we've got this... What do we call this? Well, we've got this base color, and this deeper wine red as the background, where we're saying this stripe is in front of this stuff, this is behind her head, this is in front. So having this dark up here just doesn't make sense whatsoever. So I'm trying to think, what do we do? Do we try to work off of this, or I think we just fully replace it. I've got the colors right over here, which is always a good idea. It's always a good idea to pick out and just store the colors that you want somewhere. Personally, as you'll see, I am drawing with very distinct, unblended colors, but especially if you're drawing at higher resolution, where you are mixing colors, obviously you're going to have different tones, and then it's invaluable to have reservoirs of each color that you're going to use. Sure. Do I want to make the head taper more gentle again? I've just looked at the hair, right? And this does have the top here. Meh. No, I think the basic shape is fine, and we can work it out in the hair layer. So, basic idea. Basic idea is certainly going to be to roughly trace the head. Staying a good distance away from it, we are going to fully cover this here. Let's see. Even insofar as so. Then, what structures do I want? I don't think worry about that just yet. Just get it down, like so. Now, I want it to be extremely close, like so. I really do like the structures that I made. I remember that I spent a good deal of time on the hair shape on the original sprite. To which end, I also like though the effect is much more pronounced here, but I do like the eye covering, like so. So, let's try moving over such. Now, what do we have here? The basic shape. Again, you can always change it, but you need to do something to start, right? So, in that way, to start, I'm just gonna... Whoops. There's a hole here. Okay. To that end of have something to start, I'm just gonna trace the basic of the head. Remember that it's not all of it is going to be in front. I'm drawing it with the basic color up front, but some of it is also going to be behind her head. Now, yes, good idea past me, give it a bit more side depth. But that's something that we can work out. Now, I certainly want this to go all the way down here. All over her shoulders, both directions. Something like that. Also going over and onto her chest. Since this is the side where she's kind of covered by it. That is represented by having a much more, by having this come out in front. And for that, I am actually going to look at Queen again. It's not perfect either, but it's a reference. So, let's see. If a strand of your hair falls onto your shoulders and rolls onto the chest, like so, what would that be like? Well, it needs to follow that. Now we've gone forward. We can go something like this. Don't hate that. No, it's not full enough. Most certainly is not. And it's too straight, and of course everything. It's not detailed yet. But the idea is there. Okie dokie. So, that's the basic idea. Now, to fix things, for lack of a better term. So, I want to highlight where we fall to the back. So, that's a start. And here we've got kind of two structures, right? So we've got the basic hair outline that is well lit. We've got the back, which maybe I just draw the back as it stands and then draw over it again with the falling strand, because we will have a similar backside here, but it will be covered by this, which is coming down. So, in that way, let's. Again, if you don't know what else to do, symmetry is a starting point, then you can tell what you don't like about it and keep going. So, I do actually like that you can see a lot more of the back cave, I call it. You can see a lot more of the back of her hair this side than this. I think this strand is a bit too thick. Yeah, something like that works. Maybe close it up a bit, actually. Well, you know, you can always fix it later, or not even so much fix it as improve it. Yeah, what else do we want? Currently it looks rather straight. It is straight, but if we compare it with this, right? If you've got a, how do we describe this? The more vertical it is, the more heavy does something look. Because hair, normally, it can lay on top, it is light, it is less dense. As such, it floofs out and it looks like it's not affected by gravity as much. Wow. Play this going hard. So, in that regard, what do we have? If we compare with the hair that we currently have, also I want to draw in this shine, which is the light reflecting on the hair. Yeah, you see, first off, it follows the curve of the head. It should be wider, and it is quite vertical. It falls off sharply. Where if we compare with this is a very gentle curve, and it floofs outwards. where if it was so heavy that it couldn't support its own weight, it would fall down much more rapidly. Sure. Now, having said all that, how do we make it happen? Let's see. How do we make it happen? I think beginning's gonna be simple as it seems, these 2 pixels. And fluid's a bit more this way. Likewise, let it protrude here. Let's see. Maybe I want to put in a clip, right? So, something to explain why her ear is poking out. Maybe she's actually clipping her hair so that it stays in place and doesn't cover it. Maybe, but maybe that's a detail. But if we try it... Don't hate it. Apparently, she definitely looks like a child. Which is suboptimal. Because this character is canonically 18. Why does she look like a child? Not a lot of throat. That's the why. Yeah. Even though it's because of her head turning. Still, there's only 2 pixels of space between chin and shoulder here. So... well, here's the thing. That's no different here either, although her shoulder does come up more too. I have learned in previous character arts that really, what determines a character's age is much more about the ratios of sizes, obviously, but just the distance from the shoulders to the head plays such a large role, because that's one of the big things that grow out as you are taller. Which means in small humans, that difference is smaller. So, let's try that. Having just shuffled that up, well, maybe I need to consequently give her... no, that looks too muscular. What do you do? Let's see. It's a gentler curve. It is something like that. That's what she does. Obviously the dress will need to be adjusted for that. I think for larger we can just take this up. You two, you go down. That makes absolutely no sense. Right. Please, you need to dodge out of the way. That work better? Obviously, the entire hair layer needs to come up one now, which means we need to draw out the ends of it. Okay. And I'm game maker, please. This program is wonderful, it really is. It's just, it listens to hotkeys when it feels like it. Doesn't matter how much you click on it, doesn't matter if it really is the selected program. It doesn't matter. It will change tool when it decides it wants to. And the fun thing is, you need to be largely inside this drawing area. If I click into... No, actually. No, it's just a GameMaker ignores your inputs when it feels like it. Because this is a quality program. So. Now. The shape is still very off. I feel like I haven't done much of anything with the skin. I'll be perfectly honest. I want to try going back. No, that's no. No, that is only on 2, 3. Wonderful. Okay. Right, rethink. Maybe we just do that. Even better, we do this. Although that... No, that's the thing, right? Humans don't have sharp edges. You do need to round it out like so. I think it'll come together with the hair and shape. Really think I do. It will. So, now. Let's try something. Try adding the shine, which I don't know when I started doing it, I just did it sometimes. It's the reflection of the light, which is a real thing. It's not really a thing unless you have bright lights, like, I don't know, the sun, which wouldn't happen in this room, but unless you have bright lights which are not diffused. So, kind of this middle ground of a photo that is properly lit, but not with a photographer's tools. So the point is, it's this little squiggle here, which implies that there is light elsewhere and it breaks up the monocolor that we currently have here. So, give it a try. It's relatively flat too. Yeah, I usually draw it as... Well, it varies. But the thing is, the shine, drawn like a bit of a halo, also allows it to imply the shape of the hair. Like so. Since the shine would be coming off of the same one light source. Can I show that off? Not perfectly with my setup, no. But it comes from the same light source, which means you see the trajectory of what it reflects off of by changes in the shape of the reflection. That helps already, that helps. Now, you know, I do really kind of hate this. What I mean by that is, I don't like the shape. Although maybe she's currently a bit too vertical. That's the thing. What I'm thinking is, she's standing up quite straight, when what I want for her character is that she's not doing that. That she is hunkering down a little bit. That's just how she is. Although, well, again, keep working on the shape that's just the most basic. I just slapped something together and we'll see where we end up. Yeah. Again, we're going to make the hair fluffier. Something like this. Yeah. Gentler, more horizontal lines. Yeah, I'm starting to like that more. Okay, then. In what direction do I want to move? I don't hate that. I feel like the hair in the face. Let's think about that. What do I want it to do? What I wanted to do is, I do want it to be in the face. I want it to cover part of her eye. Maybe we want to do something like that. No. No, see, that just hinders the recognition. I think we should show part of the white, the sclera, because that helps you recognize that this is the eye, and if we go like this, then, well, now it's just a purple square. So I actually don't hate how it falls over here. Maybe go in one, though that would block her vision a bit too much. So how about so? Yeah, I'm back where I started. Now then. Okay, so how it goes over the eye is fine. Okay, moving on. I'm thinking about the eyebrow here. Well, eyebrow, eyelash, kinda both. I don't really distinguish. Actually, I think it's more eyelash than brow. I don't bother drawing them in. Likewise, I think it is important for recognition to show most of it, if not all of it, even if we don't on this side. But that looks fine, really. It's just... Okay, I'm gonna try a thing, yeah? I'm gonna try a thing, and that thing is pulling her face inwards. And that is going to have the effects that the hair cave extends here, and the throat extends here. Don't hate that, honestly. I'm having a bit of trouble reading it with this area here, where the eyes are aligned. They are above the same part of the chin, but because we are missing this area, yeah, I think we do just that. Or maybe this. I have to think about how realistic it is to run this part of hair down here. It doesn't come out of nowhere, right? Though it can move over a little bit, as it will also be supported here on the shoulder. Now, and the point is that by showing this bit of cheek, or even just this, frankly, that means that the chin can run over and complete here, where previously the chin was uneven. It ended here, though that is realistically covered by hair. It doesn't read properly. As in, when you look at it, the structure looks off. So, let's give it a try. Honestly, unfortunately, I have a little confession to make. I really do need to pee, and it's been over an hour anyway. How about this? I'm gonna take a bit of a break, just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. We're gonna pick right back up here, and I recommend you do the same. Walk around a bit, stretch your legs. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I'll be right here. Don't go too far. Okay? Okay. See you in a bit. Music, please. A little more cheerful. That's better. Dokali, Dokali. Now, back onto the action we go. So, I do like that. I do like music itself. I do like having pulled the chin up slightly, makes the face rounder, which I think is good. Makes it slightly smaller, increases the distance between chin and shoulder, which I think we can overall consider a good thing. Now, I'm kind of violating. I'm violating the laws of perspective here right now, aren't I? Which is to say, what did I say previously? When you turn your face like so, yeah. Now this effect is exaggerated because of the green screening, but generally, the sides that the face is on is more vertical compared to the far side, which still has the curve of the head, since humans are a sphere on all sides but one, so to say. But right now I've got the opposite effect going on, where this side is quite vertical on the hair side. This one is nice and floofy. And actually the shine only accentuates that. Although, no, not really. The shine is more vertical on the turned sides than on the back side of the head. So, to that end, the answer is quite simple. We just need more. But I'm thinking, do I want the hair to fill out the image on the back side? I don't think I do. So maybe I want it to be slightly less full on the turn side though, since she has a lot of it, but largely it is going to be more towards the back of the head, and the front, though it very much also does come over the front, is going to have generally less. And since front is left in this case, let's see if we can't give that a try. No? Haymaker? Not feeling it? Okay. Right, I do need to press the delete key and not D. That would help. Yeah. Or maybe even if we do something a little like that. No, that's a bit silly. Maybe it just disappears entirely. Oh, I don't hate that. Don't hate that idea. Obviously the shape is, again, here's the secret of art. You need to go over it 4 or 5 times before it approaches anything decent. But I don't hate the idea that well, now that looks like a shortcut. But I don't hate the idea that it actually stops short here. Let's see, basic shape. It falls over the shoulder here. Don't like that. Do not like. No sir. Well, here's the thing. Um, what are we portraying? Something like that, maybe? Let's see, in order for it to widen out as it comes down here, it would need to lay on the shoulder. Because if there's nothing on top here, then why is it coming out here? Actually, because it spreads out. The hair does do that. Think about this side, I think. Now then. I want to first focus on this right side. Because I like this idea. I like it's not coming all the way down. Or it not going all the way over the shoulder. As would only make sense. Right? You're pulling it backwards. So just where it comes from. Though we need to think about this. We really do. Because let's see, if it is in front of the ear, then you need to turn your head quite a lot in order for... Actually, that just doesn't work entirely. If the hair is in front of the ear, then it is going to come down on the shoulder. So maybe what we actually need to do is we need to scrap this here. We need to scrap the hair falling onto the shoulder here and replace it with this. Right, swap the sides so that it makes more sense. I mean, both options can make sense, but if we're saying that the hair ends here, it doesn't go on top of the shoulder, then we're saying it is only this long. And if we're saying it is this long, such as to go onto the edge of the image, then we've got incongruent sides. Incongruent, even. So that doesn't add up. Oh, let's see. Let's think. So, options. Make the hair fall onto the shoulder, which supports its length being what it is. Alternatively, we can and that has the two options of either take away this part on the side, move it to the left, or we can keep it. Then she is quite caged in by it. Well, let's give it a try. Be something like that. And obviously we'd have to fill in here. I'm just trying stuff to see what happens, really. So, see. I don't hate that, to be honest. I really don't hate that, because now, while the shape cell is going to need a lot more refining, I kinda like it, because now it fits the physics, right? the it falls over where it would make sense to. Now, I'm not perfectly happy with this area, but we can fix that. Still don't like. That's a complete mess. Let's see. This part is where you'd usually bust out the reference pictures to have any idea of what you're doing. Let's see, I think this curve is too aggressive. Something about it just isn't right. Maybe it's not aggressive enough, maybe it's too thin. Nah. Fill it out like so. Don't hate it, don't like it. Nah, that's going in two directions now. So, what we're going to do now is, initially we're just gonna look at it and think about what do I like about it, what do I not like about it. So, what do I like about it and what don't I? It follows the physics more accurately, in that the part of her head which is... Does that even add up? No, not really. That's the thing. I've got this completely backwards. Obviously, if you turn like so, so she's turning to the right. Yes, sure. Sure, the hair being in front of the ear still implies that it should come down onto the shoulder, but the part that's pulled forward is actually the left, right? This side is further back than this one, so it doesn't make sense that it would fall over here but not here. So let's try undoing that. Maybe we just uncover the ear then. This looks more than a bit silly. But we can work with it. Now we've got the same issue again, that the chin is coming out too far. Maybe we cover both. Yeah, don't hate that. I kind of do hate it. Let's see. The basic idea was that this sticking out here, this also tells us that this strand over here is a distinct strand. Let's try something like that, eh? That's better. The thing is, so let's see, logically, the hair can be in front of the ear here, but we can't show the back cave in front of the ear. and we need to show a good bit of it in order for it to be recognizable for what it is. And I think this is quite possibly too much already. This is like, we need to show the entire thing. Okay. Okay. Isn't art fun? I think it is. Which is why I do as little of it as I can physically get away with, and I have considered many times to just hire an artist and get it done. But then it wouldn't be my thing, would it? Okay. So, but with this strand of hair now better separated with a bit of cave, don't hate that. Do we even go further? Do we try something like that? Maybe a bit. But what I'm thinking is, this, the very base of the ear, that is fine. That's not going to have any hair in the front layer behind it, because, well, it displaces it, right? You need to go to the back to still show. But the far side doesn't do the same nearly as much, so it can still show some. Again, this would be where a reference picture would be just dandy. But oh, pardon me. But this we have what we have, and a reference picture is not one of them. I might want to look one up for the future, but, well, one way or another, there's nothing behind it, though. I like that. And the real question is, how far does this continue? Let's say like so. Say it, because if I don't say something, then I'll be here all day without actually deciding on anything. Sure. Having done that, let's see. Hair's still a bit tight. It needs to go out like fully like this. Another layer. Okay. Yeah, that's approaching more what I want, which is hair that is straight but still light. It is still fluffy. For lack of a better term, fluffy really does express it so well, though. Yeah. Now, what else needs to be done? Let's see. Right now, we've got both sides behind the shoulders. We've got, well, except for this strand, obviously, but both sides are falling behind the shoulders here, which I believe the old sprite kind of had that going on. It had this bit of nonsense here, which made absolutely no sense whatsoever. We also don't have any shading, but that is something that you add once you are satisfied with the shape of your hair. Otherwise, well, why are you going to cast shadows when you don't know where the things that cast shadows are? Now, just check a thing real fast. Is this the dark tone? It is. No, it's not. That is the light shading tone for the throat. Normally I use a darker shade for full shadows, specifically off of the chin, and the lighter shade is for hair shadows. So, given that, let's try that. That also contours that much more specifically. Also, this shadow is just kind of made as it came. So, yeah, let's see, let's think. Light source is roughly up here. It shadows like so. Shadows become narrower over distance because the light can pass by the side. No, that's not how shadows work, Toraka. It's just not. Well, it depends on the relationship between the light source and the object that is casting the shadow. It depends on their relative size and distance. So, since the lamp is quite literally just larger than this chin, it should become smaller. So that basic shape is good. Now, as for size, so this may seem inconsequential over here, but of course, the more shadow there is on the throat, the more do we imply that the head comes forward. If we were to erase it completely, well, there's nothing. If we were to just make it a bit smaller, that doesn't look right either. So the basic idea of this is good, I think. I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of this, but what can I change? I can move the chin's shadow over like so. That gives it a more defined shadow, but I'm not sure I actually want that either. Let's see. This gives us a much more... So this gives us a more defined shadow, which means there is a specific light source which is not too far away, because shadows become sharper with brighter light, with smaller light sources. Can I display that? Yeah, kinda. Smaller light sources and with reduced distance from both from the light source to the object and from the object to the shadow. So, the basic idea is, do I want that, or it would be this, do I want this, or that? This might seem trivial, but I assure you it's not. I'm kind of feeling the sharper shadow, although it looks kind of big, I'll admit. Okay. What if we make it softer in this way? Well, that kinda looks more like a color, I'd say. No, I do want a pixel of distance to make it clearer that this is being cast by this chin, and to make it clear what it is. It's not a physical object, it is a shadow. So, in that regard, I prefer this, but this makes me think that it is simply too large. But maybe that's fine. Really. I mean, it is just 2 pixels of height here. It's 3 here. Which is fine, since it's being cast diagonally, so let's see, this pixel right here, this is coming from this vague region over here. I think that's fine. I really think it is. So, given that, let's turn our attention back onto the hair. And then what are we doing? So, let's see. The head is turned that way. It's a slight profile. The head is in a slight profile, which means this ear comes forward, this one's back, which is why the hair falls behind the shoulders here. This one's in front. Now, here we have the hair behind the ear, which means it can kind of go either way. It can go this way, it can also go in front. So, here's the thing, you can't really have hair fall a little bit over the shoulder. If we try something like yay, yeah? That just looks weird. So, having decided that, I do think that behind the shoulder is fine, which raises the question of, do I want to shade it further? What's this track? Well, saddled metal storm. Accurate. Okay. Maybe not quite that. In fact, not that either. No, I want it to be relatively narrow. So, do it like so. Here we have reached the fun part, where it is largely fine, it is drawn, but past that, it's still not perfect. It's, I would even say it's far from good. So, so we've got it this way, but there's a million tiny things that we can change. Actually, there's about, it's what, 32 is 2 to the 5, so there's only 1,000 pixels in this image, if you think about it. And with only 10, 13 colors to work with, it's really not that much. But that aside, do we want to try this? See how it feels? You know, I do have this old versions folder that maybe I should have chucked it into. But well, we'll save it for posterity, and maybe, let's see, just give it a try. You know what? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to extract this thing onto its own layer. Which you can simply copy and paste it on the new layer and then erase it on the old. Or more accurately, you can, well, paint it over so that when I move the shine, there's still going to be, whoops, there's still going to be some of the natural hair color underneath, like so. Because I want to mess with this thing. I like... What am I thinking? I like the basic idea. I want to fiddle with it a tiny bit. I don't like this full curve that it's doing. So... consequently... but anything that I change only looks worse. So, what do I want to portray? I want to portray a kind of semicircle. So, still in largely this shape. I want it to be shaped like this, but I don't know. What I'm thinking is it comes down a bit too much. So, pull it up. Oh, not with the draw tool, with the eraser. Otherwise, we're leaving splotches of colors on layers where they don't belong. Right, this basic wine red should be just on the hair layer. If we replace pixels on the shine layer, then that's going to work, but it is going to cover, if we change something here, like if we change the hair color or something, then the shine color would still have the old instead of having a hole, which allows the new change color to shine through. Anyway, it's not improving as I change it, I'll be honest. What am I thinking? I don't like the emphasis that it is creating currently, which right now you need to think about composition, right? You can do this consciously or subconsciously, but right now everything, if we use a more visible color, everything is pulling towards the center. So, well, with that idea, let's try this. Make it more centered. Not in love with that yet. But not in love with that yet, because we do need a more drastic fall of this side. No, no. Listen, I got it right on the first try, so why mess with it, really? Okay. I guess we're gonna keep that as it is. So, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna see how it looks in game. And for that, I've got a funny little system for, you see, I draw at tiny resolution. This is literally 32 by 32. But in order to properly display it in game, it needs to be scaled up. Now, I could have GameMaker do this at runtime, but that's unnecessary math when I can just pre-bake the images and upscale them before we even start. Now, the sprite is only ever referenced by name, so this should just work. Give it a moment. There we are. I am on the demo build, which is not perfect. Let me just switch that real fast. There we go. Okay, this is better because I'm on the demo build, which when I load this save, it is going to kick me out because the demo is supposed to end before this. So, let's see then. It's a different vibe, for sure. It is most certainly a different vibe. The complete lack of any and all shading certainly is visible. She still looks a bit young. Now, conveniently, we have her side by side with cute little elf here, who actually is a year her junior. But I think the big thing is we're gonna have to remake you too. Yeah, the big thing is that actually she's got the same shoulder height as Elf. I think we need to work on that. I think she might need wider shoulders. She probably needs taller ones, at least. Because her sister isn't here currently. It's weird that she isn't. Can I not? I suppose I can't pick you up. But yeah, she's got the big head, small body thing going on. So, yeah, if we look, right? If we look at the others here, not all of these images are final, of course, but all of them have more body in frame. To which end, I suppose, there's what we want to change then. Right, so pull, I think the entire thing, just pull all of it up so that we can have more shoulder in there, show that there's more body to her. Maybe widen the shoulders? Not sure. Well, there's nothing like a decent test, I'll say. It is important to see the image in context as it would look, so that you can truly properly judge what it is. Do you like it? Do you not? Okay, just shuffle all this stuff up. There we go. That gives us an additional pixel row to work with. So off we go. Now we need to be careful here again, not to follow the proper curvature of the shoulders. So I'm gonna place those like that. Oops. I'm drawing the dress on the not dress layer. That's bad. Yeah, and here, and fill this in with lavender. There it is. Now, you need to go off here. Do something like that. Yes. Like that. I like that. I don't like this transition of one square into the next. But let's try that. Now she's got a bit of the queen vibe going on, I'll be honest. But okay, right. That is significantly larger shoulders. I mean, she's still not the tallest, but jeez. I guess it really is just that if we compare her to, let's say, you. When did I update you? Not very recently at all. Okay. This one. I like this picture. Right, there's less head going on. There's more body. Which I suppose, yes. There's the key. We are showing less of Tiger's head, or rather less of her body, but the head is the same size. Therefore, the head looks much bigger. So how do I change that? Because, like, this is a fixed size. If we make it like so, right? So this 5 across, 4 tall, 4.5 tall. This meanwhile changing the grid properly. Here we've got... we don't have a proper skin layer, but this is 4-ish tall and... No, the head's a bit smaller. So, question remains. How do I show more of her body? Well, I have a fixed amount of space, which means more body requires less head, which also helps the large head issue, though I'm not sure that's... Please don't ever turn that layer off. I'm not sure that really is the solution here. Well, okay. So right now I'm working off of this image as a reference, and it can be quite simply put that this is a different style of image. It is most certainly a different style of image, which is further away, showing more shoulder, showing more chest. No. I do still have the 1 pixel row here. I could move it up another row and get more body visible that way. Well, let's see. Actually, most of the idols do hit their frame, don't they? Yeah. Size inside their image also implies physical body height. So, let's see. She's not the tallest, but if she just reaches the top of her frame, I think that's fine. So, another row. I don't think I moved this previously. So, keep drawing an address. I think we can go something like here. You. Okay, doke. And add in a lavender layer and booba. No. In fact, we just move this down, I think. Yeah. I like that curve. I like that. Okay. So. Let's see. Given that I have another trick that I can use, which is I could shorten the throat again. That would give me another... I didn't move the face up. Pulling the throat up, or what would it be? Yeah, pulling the chin up, or shortening the throat, rather. That would give me another pixel row for body. Just want to check one thing. Eyes to mouth. No, eyes to mouth base. Now the proportions are the same between these two pictures. We've got 2 pixels between mouth and chin. And we've got 3 pixels between the bottom of the eyes and the base of the mouth. Now then, let's see. Does this look better? Not really. Right. This is fine. Isn't it funny? All of this. Such different expressions. Changing 1 pixel and I've got 3 or 4 pixels to work with. But this expression is fine as it is. Yeah. Let's see. I still need to pull the hair back in. Now we can decide. I can make the hair end here. I don't hate that. Because, listen. Sorry. Because if there is one thing that the world doesn't need more of, it's anime styled girls with hair that reaches all the way down their back. So I hate trying something like that. Hair that is long but does have an end. So it does end over here. Don't hate that, don't hate that. Okay. Then. Well, the relatives of everything do need to be worked out still. I don't think I want that. No, just... maybe. Maybe, solid maybe. Not like that. If we try... I think that would need an extra pixel here. But that then again looks like it's laying on the shoulder, which it kind of is, but alright. No, I don't hate that. The visible difference of length, where it's longer on this side than that, does, in my eyes, it does help sell the disappearing behind the shoulder thing. Okay. Now then. What else do we want out of this? So now, it is much straighter. The shoulders are actually in the same place, which previously they were not. I'm just using myself as reference, even though, you know, there is a difference between me and that idol girl there. Oh, the green screen did not like that. There's a difference between me and her, but still, roughly, shoulders are flatter than you'd think, right? This is really flat. So, in particular, if we turn this layer off, if we turn both of those layers off, it's not gonna do something like that, yeah? Unless it is. I don't think so, no. No. Leave it flat as it is. No, I don't hate that. I don't hate this. Kinda like it, even. At least in so far as the essential shape of it. Let's see. There's an excessive amount of hair. Toggle it off again. The skull shape is like so there's 3 pixels upwards to go. That is, I think, a bit floofy. Oh, you're not gonna tell me anything, are you? No, because you've got... I'm gonna need to fix you as well. But generally... Man, I never bothered to draw the full skull. And I hate this. Closest reference might be you. Who you have... You've also got a highly limited skin. Okay. Right. Back to this idea. So, what I'm thinking is, I can flatten out the hair, which is to say, remove some of it. Try something like this. Just take off this entire thing. No, not a fan. I mean, it certainly is something unique, and the idea is that I can then go zoop, move everything up one more time, gaining more space in between this and that. Actually, I hate this less than I thought. I do want the hair to connect to the top of the image, but maybe I don't hate that. Let's see. Like so. Maintain the curve of the shoulder. Now that looks naughty. Not a fan, not a fan, not a fan. No, no. I like it better with one fewer row. Then shuffle everything back down. There we go. Maybe keep it shorter. Weird. Because I want her to fill out the image, but having a flatter hairstyle like this, actually, I don't mind that. But I also don't want to show more, like I don't want her to be taller down here. So, what am I to do? The ratio is fine, so I don't want to move the head up independently. I want this to connect, but I don't want to add more of this. So my only action would be to add more throat, which I'm not sure I want. So maybe we do keep it like this. After all, that would once again match height onto her sister, who also has a similar thing going. Now, the question is, Ooh, you've got 5. What in the world is up with that? No, I think that's fine. Now, I think the basic shape is in place enough that we can try doing some shading, which, if you do it well, nobody knows that you've done it. But it is important. That I'm going to steal this color. Is this different? Yeah, this is much brighter. This is the color from inside the ear, which is literally also shaded. But not so much. So, shading, frankly, I just guess. I just give a best guess as to what I want. The idea is that, once again, lamp is up there. So it is going to shine in this direction downward and cast tiny little shadows onto the skin, which is going to very slightly darken the skin in specific places. Now, which places that is and how much? Listen, for that you'll have to come to a real artist. For that, I ain't the place. I'm just guessing here. No. I think that strip is too much. It might be too long, or like, yeah, right next to the eye. I don't love it. What else would we want? It's important to see it at context, right? So in its context, it's going to be quite literally a Polaroid photo. So the actual image is not much more than the size of a postage stamp, which lets you get away with a lot more stuff, but still it's important to do it right. Well, there is another option. I don't love what I'm doing right here. So, I do kind of like it. I like this pixel though. So, by the magic of layers, there is actually another option, which is that instead of having a pre-baked color, we go onto white. No, we go onto black, and we just use something with a bit of alpha, like 50 out of 255. You really don't need a lot. In fact, you need less than this. And you just let the computer figure it out. Instead of guessing at what darkened color looks like, you just slap a slight, very slight bit of transparent shadow on there. And then, by the magic of layers, the computer will figure out that this base color minus, well, plus, I suppose. What color system do you use? No, full darkness is 250. No, you use additive color. White is all colors. So that doesn't matter. The point is, this plus a bit of shading equals that. It's a bit grayer than I thought. You know, I'm thinking But I do want to cover a bit of the eyelash. That might be something. Looking at it in the small preview, which is just about real in-game size. I do still need to work on the shape of the hair. Let's see. Because right now, I think I've fixed largely the baby face that she had going on. But it's currently a bit too floofy now. So let's try pulling that back in a bit, because what I want is this is a pretty composed character. So no. It's hard to express. Really is. I want this to be a very composed, controlled character who therefore would not he would not have completely free-flowing, unregulated hair. Now, you can only control how it grows by so much, but it still looks a bit too wild. It looks like she's not even trying to control it. To which end, it is supposed to be a plot point that at one point it is pointed out, why isn't she? Right? Why doesn't she use ties or hair clips or whatevers? But let's see. I think she could try a little more. To which end? To which end? Maybe we pull the end in a little more even. Yeah. Give it a defined shape rather than a wild cascade. To that end, we might take off something like this. I know I have widened this, trying to make it more floofy, but maybe we even go as far as this, right? Don't hate that. Actually, genuinely under control. To that end, kind of this. I don't like how this is moving, but let's see where it ends up. I don't like that. I'll be honest. I don't like that one bit, but I like the concept. I think this is now a bit too short. I should maybe commit the starting point, like put it into source control. Let's try that. Let's go back to where we were at the very start of this haircutting journey. We were here. So I'm actually going to make a commit of artist order that changed. So if the commit of Tiger remake with long hair. There. Now source control will remember this forever and I'll always be able to redo it. So, pull this together, yeah? I think there's something here. We haven't achieved it yet. But there is something here. The thing is, if it is... what I'm thinking is that it needs to be unregulated to some degree, because if it is being cut quite aggressively, like this is being kept under control. So then why isn't it clearer up here? Right? Maybe it just is would help, yeah. But now it's making her quite aggressively asymmetrical. So maybe we reveal more of the eye. I don't hate that. Starting to like this more. Starting not to hate it. Turn off the shading layer for now. We'll deal with shading once we have a shape we like. So maybe we fully reveal... No. I think that kind of framing works. So put in this. Yeah. So the eyes are uneven. Yes, that's on purpose. But they are still being framed in much the same way. Yeah. So you've got this pixel poking out here, and likewise you've got this pixel poking out here, which is at a different level, but it rounds it. She is in fact a very round lady. Okay, we're starting to get somewhere. Maybe this is it. As I said, we really do not need more idols with unkempt, super long hair. I mean, we've got Butterfly, we've got Crimson, we've got Queen, to a degree even Squelly, though she too is on the block for a character art remake. Hell, Jade's kind of got the short hair going on, but... and so does Elf, though she keeps it actively under control. And you've got shorts. Still, Hmm. Yeah. Somehow it feels like babyface again. Oh, my curse never ends. Is the ear misaligned? It is. Is it? No, no, it's perfectly aligned. Let's see. Yeah. Right. It's because she's not too large and the ratio of head to body still isn't. Well, there's a lot of head compared to not a ton of body. So that might be why she looks a bit small. Well, do we want to try giving her more body again? See, we can certainly try. So have her standing taller in the image. And then try something like yay. In fact, listen, what I'm gonna do is try that. Right, need to cook this up. Now the ratios are weird. I think the dress highlights need to go out slightly. No. This just doesn't fit. Now there's too much simple body. Let's see. Let's try shoving all of this down. Just as a vague concept. No, do not like that. I like the hair meeting the shoulder, but just barely. But this ain't it. What about it ain't it? Let's see. Are they too close to the center? Are they too far from the center? I think if anything they're too close to the center. Maybe they're not tall enough. Not like that, more like this. Hate that. What if we move this further out now? I've got another idea. He's looking down, yeah? Which also increases her implied height. Though I absolutely do not love this gaze. Nah. Now she's looking at nothing. So I do like this. What if we extend the dress highlights to... Now they are too far from the center. Hmm. I don't love it. I don't love it, chat. No. I think if we want to make her taller, then changing the highlights, that is, making them longer, is going to be the way to go. And highlights meaning, of course, the fold for the axle. But no, not currently yet. Yeah, alternatives. Alternative place is maybe just keep her height like this. Maybe now change her gaze. I like this eye framing, like so, but I'll be willing to experiment. Well, there's no mistakes in the digital world, we can always undo them. Now she looks real small. I think I do like this combination. I also just like the way her gaze goes. We can try one more thing, which is to move this 1 pixel over. Now she's looking off screen, but no, this is more focused. This is what I want for her. It is true. Longer hair implies longer life, implies longer body. Although this is by no means short, for sure. That is not the tool that I want. Right, with the line tool. Is that going to be it? Are those 4 pixels going to change everything? Yes, I think so. Why is that? What? It's not drawing the pixel that I want, which is weird, but here we are now. So, I think I want her hair to be a little more messy, because now we have successfully gone to the opposite end. It is very straight, it is falling down as gravity intends, but I want it to be a bit messier than that. But don't cut off the chin. That's very important. So, no, I think this curve is perfect the way that it is. So it is encroaching upon the eye, but it's not covering it much. Okay. Bit messy that way. We can make it a bit messy. Way though. Not sure I want to. Simply put. Maybe fluff it out a little bit here. Well, it's changing angle now. Right, you see, we go from flat to diagonal to vertical, and it is important that you don't change the angle too much. I feel like I don't want more at the back of the head necessarily. Yeah, I think this is fine as it is, frankly. What I am going to do, I am going to think about this as I am going to take my second break. My bladder truly is a work of wonder. Well, standing here talking and drinking the entire time doesn't help. Still, tiny brief break. Don't go anywhere. That'll be a few minutes. Well, you can go somewhere, and in fact I would encourage you to also stretch your legs a bit, stand up. It's healthy, but don't go too far. It'll be just a few minutes, and then we'll continue and finish up this image. Art just takes forever, such as its blessing and curse. See you soon. Okay, back into the action, I say. Welcome back. Right. Let's see. What do we want to change about this one still? I think not too much. We might want to add some shading now, though. Yeah, if I copy this, then it's gonna be... Well, that's not too bad. Essentially, GameMaker does a funny thing. When you copy color, it doesn't copy just what's on that layer, it copies the entire result as it's visible. Now, normally, that is just the visible pixel. But in this case, since the shading layer is supposed to be just a bit of black with a alpha value of like 20, that may end up the same way, but this, the top one, is a full pixel with full alpha. It's the calculated color, while this is just a tiny bit of... This is just a tiny bit of black with low opacity. You know what? I might still reduce the opacity. There. Yes. Shading doesn't need to be obvious. In fact, it's best when you don't realize it's there. But it does matter. Let's see. My general idea is to follow the diagonal, and here it would be out of place because right here there's plenty of light coming in, whereas here we've kind of got a shade. It's a very fields-based metric, I'll be honest. I'm sure a real artist could tell you a whole lot more about it, but as I've said previously, if you want a real artist, then that's not me. I am a developer. I do art because I have to, and I just try to make something pretty with what I've got. So, given that, you know, he really desperately reminds me of someone. Y'all remember Fillmore? Actually, not that much. I think Tiger now has a bit of the Ingrid's third going on from Fillmore. Fillmore was from the 70s? Huh. That's shocking. So, well, this is my character. I drew it. I quite literally have video proof of me making the character largely from scratch out of my imagination. So, she is mine. I made her. And I suppose it's more the it's just the straight hair covered kind of character. Let's see. So I think at this point it's time to check our lines as the music goes very victorious. So what do I mean by check my lines? So the basic idea is you don't want hair in your face, you don't want it to cover everything. It doesn't grow much like that anyway. because, well, human evolution. So, sorry, but I'm just gonna walk you through my thoughts. So, hair grows on the back curve of the head, which means even the one that grows from the front, I've got very long currently, but it only reaches so far. Whereas, of course, if you start at a longer point, if you start here at the back of your head, then you're going to reach further down with the same length. Consequently, what am I on about? Consequently, that means that actually this strand is a bit sus. Maybe it should be shorter. Because, no, these also come from the side. Oh, this strand comes from here. Let's change the color that is slightly more visible. This strand goes something like this, yeah? And this, and obviously the barber is going to have a big word about how your hair falls, but this connects kind of along the side and drops down here. But as by my motto, I'm just gonna see. Don't like that. Look, maybe it's a little unrealistic, though she may well have grown out this one. Maybe it's a little unrealistic, but I do like it being roughly the same length as all the rest here. It's a nice little bit of symmetry. So, consequently, do I want this bit of floof here? I like it. I do want her to be rather contained within it, and these 2 pixels, believe it or not, they add a nice circular line pulling this back in, which combines with the neck shadow here, making a frame. So, what else do we want to think about? Is the dress highlight fine as it is now? Let's see. If we did that... Wider chest, smaller arms. Not a fan. No, I think the position is fine. I like that. Let's experiment with the positions. This really accentuates her chest. And that is not something that I want to think about, because this is not that kind of game. It is not a dating sim. It's an idol management sim. Also, these are literally your students, so let's just perish the thought right there. But I like that. This gives her more of a definition to the arms. Though it does make them look a little smaller if we compare. Don't hate that. Don't hate that. Yeah, I think for the size where we have her now, this is adequate to have the folds displayed by 4 pixels. So then, next, detailing. Or one more thing. Let's turn off the hair. The hair is pretty floofy around here. So, question. Do we want to just cut a bit? Just trim all around here. Maybe, oops, maybe take off this entire line. I don't hate that. I do this like that now. This is good. That's a bit too much if we want to go with this style. Although this makes it more circular again. Either one would work, really. I think this is more circular. This is more controlled. It's straighter, you could say. Although now this is just a wall. So, not a fan of that. I'm gonna go with circular for now. And I'll want you to be something more this way. Something more that way. Yeah. To keep the shine. I mean, it is most certainly possible that you have a light reflection which goes all the way to the edge, but I find it more pleasing generally that the reflection starts and ends a little inside. And I'm not going to mess with it, because we know what happens when I do. I just make it worse. The shape as it is now is perfect. So, yes, detailing. What do we want? Do we want to give her something? Maybe right now this is a super basic top with no accents. Let's think. There's only so much that you can do at this resolution, right? Because there's only so much that you can do at this resolution. Because there are 4 pixels here. So some kind of detail that I'd want would have to fit into a 3x3 square, more or less. Given that, I just have to think. I have to think real good, because what would the character of Tiger, who is class president, or class representative, or whatever you want to call it, who is an orderly, calm girl who enjoys the same, who enjoys a tidy space of everyone getting along, having a good time, without pointless quarreling. What kind of detailing would she have? I always give... I've got a big thing for flower in the hair, but again, like, I can give her something. Absolutely. It's just, you know, it can be something like that, but beyond the basic 3x3. We can't do much. Also, first off, she actually wouldn't do that. Also, I'm realizing now if we... I'm just saying, if you are into English idol pop, you may be familiar with somebody else's work. Somebody who's taking a real long time to release anything new. But here's the idea. If you gave Tiger blue eyes and orangier hair with the flower in it, that's going a bit on the nose, isn't it? So... no. I've decided this is fine. So it would be more something down here on the dress area. Towards which, let's think. Let's think. I mean, it's not like I have the resolution to really draw anything fancy. So maybe we're going to steal this color, which, let's remember, this is her twin sister, so perhaps I'm just going to let fate guide me, as it were. Don't like it. I'm just gonna make something and see how we end up. Don't like the plus. Buttons? Maybe not. Single button? What even is that? We could, of course, we could do something like this, but she doesn't have wear earrings. This is specifically because her sister does. So, don't like that. No, no. I mean, we could put blue lipstick on her. Or we could give her a more vibrant shade of red for the lips. That is an idea. Make it like slightly more saturated. Also, why am I drawing on this layer? I don't go to the correct layer. So, no, that would add up. Maybe even more vibrant. More saturation. Go. Nah. Don't like it. Okay. But I can take this color and see if we can make something of it. For this, we need to go to the dress highlights layer so that what we draw actually shows up. not a huge fan. Though it does bear questioning. Is maybe we want to show something underneath where Crimson, right? Well, Crimson desperately needs attention, but the idea is that some of these girls are wearing multiple layers so that you can see something coming through. Maybe? Or maybe... No. Just no. Oh, I'm trying. But I don't think I'll try for much longer. I think this character just is fine the way that she is. Really. So, given that, I'm going to give myself 3 seconds to come up with something that she needs. No. Obviously, this is not going to be final either, but I think we are at a good place now. Just close all of these. Let's see a comparison. Yeah. Yeah, I really like the more straight, thinner hair. This little pixel down here, I don't usually do that, but I do like it here. Do I want to carve out this slightly more? Possibly. Although, if it is that fluffy, then maybe I want to do the opposite. No, not a fan. Okay. If I can't think of what I'd want to change about it, I won't. And even tiny changes such as where does the back coloring here start and end? That's... You don't think about it, do you? But it is significant. I think I'll keep it like this. Right. I'll keep this as a backup or just for posterity. But we are going to put the new design into the game proper. Okay, which is a simple enough process. It takes a bit more manual labor than I'd like, but essentially everything that I draw is at 1/6 resolution. It gives it that beautiful, nice grainy look, and it also means that there aren't that many pixels to contend with because, as we've established, I'm not the world's greatest artist. Listen, you do what you can, yeah. You do what you can. If that means that you're going to make simpler art, then so be it. Style trumps fidelity. It is better to have a game that is made of cohesive, well-intentioned, well-directed art that maybe isn't the highest resolution, maybe it's not the most professional, but it all fits together and it all fits its purpose. It's better to have that than you know, there is a source where I could get loads of random high resolution images with sometimes even with bonus fingers or ears. But we're not doing that. Everything in this game is 100% handmade. So, having done that, yes, I've dropped it in the correct place. Not that it matters. In GameMaker, the file structure is irrelevant. It's just to organize inside GameMaker. If you look at the actual files, then it's a very funny structure. Everything is dumped into the same folder, and everything has an association with where in the file structure it is located. So, let's see. He a bit tall. He is actually a bit tall now, I have to say. She's a bit smooth. I mean, again, you can charitably call my style cell shaded, but really, well, it uses flat colors, and that is largely intentional. Yeah, it is quite intentional that I use a limited palette because I think it looks cool. I think, I'll call the devil what it is. If you look at AI images, the thing that bothers me most about them is that they're made of thousands of different shades, because it's got no concept of limiting itself. It has absolutely no reason to limit itself. So with pixel art produced by AI, it can very easily be that you've got as many different color shades as you've got pixels, which I'm not a fan of. And obviously it's not a direct competition between me and AI, but I think all these extremely soft transitions where there are no hard color borders, there is no contrast, I think that's a bit of a bugger. I don't think it looks good. So, because of that, but largely because I think this style looks good, I want to evoke the more high contrast days. I'm aiming for almost a Game Boy Advanced kind of look here. Because of that, specific, limited colors, high contrast, with exact lines. I'm not saying that my work looks anywhere near as good as that. I mean, GBA games, man, that pixel work is a thing of beauty. Yeah, quite literally, actually. Isn't it? The Game Boy Advance was pretty much the end of the forced 2D era, right? Where, sure, 3D existed, but let's see, oh, it's 32 bits. Huh. Yeah. Right. it only released in 2001, so the Game Boy Advance was very much... I mean, I'm sure it had 3D titles too, but it was right at the end of this 2D era where things still largely had to be 2D to look good, but they'd had so much time to refine and improve that it just... the pixel art there is stunning. Anyway, that's something else. I do think, looking at it, I'm not 1000% satisfied with this image, but I think, funnily, after saying all that, I don't love the face. I wonder if I should do something to change the lack of variety there. Although all the idol girls are like that. Sorry. All of the idols are like that. I actually like that we've got the hair forming a virtual eyelash eyebrow here, but maybe we change that, but that doesn't have to be on stream. That is something that I can think about and change possibly later. I'm also noting now that I actually did change the color of lips, right? Like, these, they all have darker lips than Tiger did when I drew her, and Butterfly consequently, because actually Butterfly is a relatively recent image, but I'll have a look at that. If maybe we want to change those colors a tiny bit. Other than that though, I'm quite satisfied with this. I've been dragging this quite a while, so I like this. I like having more recent arts that I feel I can be more proud of. That, simply put, it's... I am going to argue that you can certainly say this art is better, but more than that even, you can simply say that it fits my style, how it has developed, it fits it better. And putting these side by side now, I'm certainly going to have a few trims and meddle with the shape here, but you know, it is distinct. We've got Lucky here with the poofy short, which this is much lighter, right? You can see it is spreading out, it is lighter, it's less straight, where Tiger's hair obeys gravity. The closest comparison is Jade, who has much shorter hair. And then there's those who have just a flood of it. So, all in all, I am happy with this. Consequently, actually, let's see one more thing. It's going to take OBS a moment to pick up the game. That is fine. But let's go over here to the idle decks. Control it like this. We might just do that. No, I think for the last half hour we are going to think about what we do next, and it's probably going to be the next image, the next art redo. But, and instead of Tiger, we are now going to pull along with the second twin, Squirrely. So this, if I doth recall, this needs to be at 0 FPS. It doesn't actually matter because it's not getting drawn with GameMaker's native functions, but it's good to have images that don't animate not be animated. I suppose, strictly speaking, it doesn't matter because there's only a single frame, so what's it going to animate? Still. So, I'm actually going to commit this real fast. Yeah, commit this so that we have this starting point. There's no such thing as too many commits. So, this is now, I'm pretty sure this is the oldest sprite still in the game, with the exception of like a few basic, very basic sprites, but the oldest character image still in the game is this. Consequently, I want to give her a touch-up as well. And since, well, we're kind of going back and forth here, where I've used Squilly as the reference to Tiger, and I am now going to use Tiger as the reference to Squilly. Simple as. Now, most of that is going to be tomorrow, but we can start thinking about it now. So, let's think. The colors are fine. I'm going to, on my own time, check the lip color. But the colors are largely fine, the way that they are now. That being said, I am very much not a fan of this entire thing. It is true that she literally has blue hair. She dyed it, but I'm not a fan of this entire thing. This is like an attempt at shading, but it didn't really work out. Let's see. If we check all this off. Huh. Yeah. So we can, well, just do the same thing, essentially, I suppose. The first thing is that I'm again going to wonder. I think she's also got more head going on than Tiger does. I think I'm gonna toss the entire skin layer and start again from the same basic frame. These two are twins, of course. I've gone back and forth on whether they are, you know, identical twins, or I don't know the exact word, but twins from two eggs, so same parents, same birthday, but actually it just about ends there, doesn't it? So I'm leaning more towards identical, because that is cuter, which would mean that everything genetically is, well, identical. And the only reason that they are distinct is because she dyes her hair and she does different. Nature versus nurture and all that. Which would mean I could. I mean, if I wanted to be extremely lazy here, I could just copy this image and then change the hair color and woo, I'm done. But we're not doing that. It's also the hairstyle that is distinct and the expression and all that stuff. But the point being, I could pretty much copy the skin layer because, well, being identical twins who grew up side by side, largely in the same way, sure, they would not be identical to the detail, but they would be largely the same. So, same size, obviously same skin and eye color, which means I also want to reframe this. This is supposed to be a straight-on shot, where Tiger is slightly turned, Squally is straight on. I mean, no, she's a bit turned. Well, she's turned her head. Her body is straight on, but believe you me, this is pixel art. You can do... well, you can do like Doom, pretty much. The reason that Doom only has 8 facings isn't purely because the artists were lazy and didn't want to make twice as many sprites for every single character when the important part is communicated perfectly well with 8 sprites. I mean, I'm sure that had a large influence on it, but no. The less resolution that you have, the less can you do. The easiest really is a straight on, and at this resolution you can do straight on, you can do a like diagonal shot, and you can do sideways. Anything more granular than that, a partial profile, is very hard to communicate. And why is that? Well, because we've only got so many pixels to work with here. We've only got so much in order to communicate a curve. And, well, while it is, you can do more than just up, horizontal and diagonal, but you can't do much more, so your tools are going to run out rather drastically, rather quickly. Yeah. Well, I suppose let's get started then. Do I just toss the entire skin? Funny though that sounds. I think I do. Goodbye skin layer. After all, I've got the entire thing in source control, so I'm literally going to copy the skin layer from here two there without a color. Without color, thank you. Game Maker has this funny thing going on, haha, funny, which is that this entire language and the program was made by aliens. Oof, let's turn all that stuff off for the moment. The entire language was made by aliens. So when you copy paste something, you copy this, but you can also select a color and then it will blend those colors together. I don't know on what planet that makes sense. I don't know who decided that was how it should work. But somebody did, and now here we are. So, listen. Art is difficult, but it doesn't always have to be. So, for a start, we're just gonna start with this. And maybe we're going to modify it out of here again. Maybe, maybe not. But actually, you know what? I've just had another idea, which is, yes, this is straight on now. And I think that's fine. I think we're keeping that. So the idea is, if the body turns, then we can also we can represent that. We can shorten it horizontally, which would represent her being turned one way or the other, but that is kind of difficult to do. So I am going to move these layers into the correct order. Who am I to speak of aliens, perhaps? But okay, move all that properly into place, or more accurately, redraw it. That is not the music from Naxxramas, but it really sounds like it. Oh well. Okay, erase all that, then we're going to make that basic shape. Although, I've got an idea. Here it is. This is the idea. It's a deeper cut. Quite literally. Okay, and this is why you draw the skin layer, so that now I can just make a deeper cut shirt and it will appear as such. In fact, for this way, don't go to the dress highlights. Just quickly drawing out what we know we want to happen. Isn't that cute? Okay. Now, your sister has 1 pixel between the end of the shoulder and the start of the highlights, but it starts there. So 1 pixel between, 2 and up. 1 pixel between, 2 and up. Yeah. Yeah, she is so much more straight. So we compare the face. This is so much lower. Now, we can of course do that. And in fact, I might move Tiger's face down, or tilt her entire head downwards so that she's looking down. I might do that in refinement. But the point is, as things stand, this is... well, this is closer in, that's the thing. This is zoomed in compared to this perspective up here, which is further away. So, consequently, obviously if the head is the same position in the frame, but we are further away, then the face, which is below the top of the head, is going to... if it is zoomed in, then it's going to be lower down, because the same physical distance, the same 2 inches or 5 centimeters, if you prefer real units, the same 5 centimeters are going to be more significant. Okay, this is there. Yes. Okay. Wonderful. Now, this is already a basic character. I'm going to do one more thing before we end for today, because, you know, eventually I do have to. Yeah. Earrings. Actually, I have an idea. I'm not going to explain what I'm doing, but I do have an idea. Yes, you. Though she's kind of already got blue as a scheme, doesn't she? Let's try this. Okay. This is going to be a surprise tool that helps us later. Much later, maybe. But, yeah. Okay. So then, tomorrow we are going to tackle this. Turn off the lines. Right. Right, of course. The turned head and all that. I forgot. Can we fix that? I mean, surely. Something like that. Now it's very egg-shaped, and I'll probably do something or other to it, but next time, which is tomorrow, 9 AM, Central European Time. Tomorrow, we are going to tackle the task of putting this back where it belongs. You know, it's not too terrible as things stand. But we're going to put that back where it belongs and also draw it more sensibly, because these highlights, I don't like them. I really don't. Alright, but that is going to be a task for another day, because drawing a character is easy. Drawing their hair properly, that's the part that takes forever. Well, I mean, drawing a character also takes a while. We've literally just demonstrated that, but drawing a character is certainly the easier part. It's the detailing and the hair and the whatnots that is an issue. Still, that is going to be it for me for today. I'll be back tomorrow on this very channel, YouTube and Twitch, and I will love if you all can join me. For now, have a wonderful rest of your day, and see you soon.